but that he's not making any effort. He's not, and especially even when you're talking about it, he's not validating what you're saying. He's making excuses upon excuses. He's saying you are demanding too much, or you are impossible to please. Please dust your slippers and run away. Get it? You got it? Run away and let him clear road for someone better. Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Victoria Ayodele Fash. If it's your first time here, thank you so much for joining me. If you're a return subscriber, you know I love you already. Thank you for always coming back. Today I have my husband here. Yes, when I have him here, is it that we are coming to play a game or we are coming to talk about something serious? And today we are not playing a game, so obviously we're talking about something serious. So babe, before you say I did not introduce you, please introduce yourself. Why? Yeah, I forgot to. No. Okay.
Hello guys, my name is Wole Ayodele Fash, and it's good to be back here today.
Yay! It's a pleasure to have you again. Thank you so much. Anyway, so today I want to be answering some questions that if one or two of my subscribers actually there are 3 people who sent some questions to me via DMs on Instagram. But before we go on, let me just mention that I noticed a number of people actually sent me DMs on Instagram that I've not been able to respond to, and that's because you are not following me before you sent a DM. So usually when you do that, it goes into my request folder and I don't get notified. So I tend to see maybe 5 or 6 days when I'm going through DMs, which I hardly do if I don't get notified. All right, so I'll be reading the lady's question, or one of the ladies' question, and then we'll be trying to answer. And of course, please leave your comment on it. Okay. All right, it says thank you, my name is this. So I started dating a guy in March, long distance, and we met online. Actually never met physically, okay, cause he's in Ibadan and I am in Abuja, and I'm in Kaduna. Lately it just feels like it doesn't have time because we don't talk as much as we did in the beginning. He even used to call me sweet names and all, but now no. And I am not sure if he likes me, or I'm not sure, because I'm not sure what she was trying to write here, but he said I'm not sure if he likes and all because of how cold it seems. Oh, okay. I think what she's trying to say is that she's not sure why he's like that because of how cold it seems to be to her, although his work is very demanding. I definitely went in because I felt he is everything I always prayed for. He doesn't really show that he likes me, although in the beginning he sounded like it and even said to tell his mom he had found someone. It is also very rare to have compliments or have conversations that leave me assured. Okay, how do I go about this, please? I watched your YouTube video on long distance relationship with your husband, which is why I thought to talk to you or to reach out to you. Should I ask him what's up, or is it too early, or am I wanting too much, or what exactly? Sorry, I have it all over the place. Needed to paint a picture. I would appreciate your advice or your insight, please. Babe, did you understand the question?
Yes, I think I have a fair grasp of what she was trying to talk about.
All right, okay, so what do you think? What's your advice for this person?
Okay. Before I say anything, I'd like a disclaimer. Whatever opinion we are giving here is just our opinion based on our understanding. The specifics of this situation may elude us because of how the message came, so we may not be aware of all the facts that are unnecessary, but whatever we're saying is just based on what we think it should be. So be that as it may, as a guy, it's a common thing when you see a male that is attracted to a female and has all the the emotions in overdrive. He's all over the place. He's bending over backwards to show how he's the best thing since ice cream or pizza. So depending on what is happening in the guy's life at the moment, a person doesn't just switch from all out attention to no attention, from 100 to 0 in a week or 2 weeks. Sometimes even something must be wrong. So it's either is experiencing a disconnect emotionally, or something radically is happening in his personal life that is overwhelming. Although I know people will say that when someone means something to you, make out time for them and all that, but you know, let's just give the room that if, I mean, those are what I just off the top of my head thinks is happening, and I think she should talk to him about it rather than getting herself reeled in, because the longer you stay open for things to get better, the more difficult it becomes to rest yourself free, because you start thinking of how long you've been there, how much you've invested emotionally and all that, and it just becomes much more difficult. So I think she should have a discussion with the guy in question. I don't know how, even if he's not been picking calls or something, I don't know, just
yeah, she did add afterwards, after I asked her if we could do a video. She stated that the guy okay, she said, I forgot to add that he hardly phone calls, even if that is, if at all. Most times he does WhatsApp, and it's always WhatsApp chat, it's not WhatsApp call.
So there might be more to this guy that meets the eye. He is not, I mean, I assume there wasn't communication before now, because for her to get to that point, it means that they are not talking. Because if they were talking, there's every chance that through one way or the other, she would have subtly communicated that everything is not fine. So for her to be in this place, I feel like there has been a cessation of communication, and from this second part of the message, it seems to be clearer.
But babe, before you move on, you know, let's just first of all let's even break the message down little by little, right? So that we can have a full understanding. Okay, so the first thing is, it's a long distance relationship, and long distance relationship takes a lot of work and a lot of commitment, especially for a person who is not like used to technology, or doesn't like to call and stuff like that. I know that at the beginning of our relationship, there was a time that I did feel like, you know, my husband was not giving me the attention that I needed. I'm sure you remember those times, because he's not a call person. He was never a call person. It didn't mean that, you know, he didn't like me, or he didn't love me, or he has changed his mind about me. But preferences is also very important, and that's why, like you said, we don't have the full picture. Is it that he's not calling you as much as you want him to,
which is possible,
yeah, or he's doing his best? Because then my husband, I remember he would send me a chat in the morning, because I don't want us to be so direct to tell her, oh, this guy is not interested anymore. Let's just, you know, give him a benefit of doubt, right?
As we should, yes.
Yeah. So long distance relationship is hard, like it's hard work, and I know my husband can testify. Especially as ladies, we have a lot of needs when it comes to affection, okay, and that's not necessarily how men are built, at least most men, okay. But I also like what my husband said when he said, when a man really wants something, he shows effort, you know, because at that time when I was complaining, and my husband, let me say it's now that he's here, he's not a very easy person to change his mind about something. When he sticks, like, if he's like, I love you, like, yeah, you get, I love you, deal with it, like, this is who I am and stuff like that. And that was the approach he was using initially that was really putting me off. And at a point I started feeling like, are you sure? I mean, like he's not pursuing me enough. You get, you know, remember I used to say that a lot. He's not pursuing me enough. He doesn't, you know, it's your job as a man to pursue me, you know. And it's not like he's not pursuing me. When I wake up in the morning, it's his text I say in the morning, hey babe, good morning, because he wakes up earlier than me, and I think I was an hour ahead of you, or you were an hour ahead of me. You know, it will, hey babe, good morning, you know. And then in the nights when we get back from work, we get to talk on phone and stuff like that. But during the day, sometimes my husband just send me, hey, have you eaten? You know, just normal talk, because he was not a conversation person, okay. He was more of a text-based person. Am I right, babe? Yeah. So you also need to evaluate that. Is it just about my needs, or is it not showing any effort at all? Or what do you think, babe?
Yeah, I think you're right. Effort counts. I mean, it took significant, it took time. Time that felt slow to her then. That it took a bit of time before I can adjust, and even now I'm still not a call-based person. I mean,
but still more text-based. Well,
but I had to, you know, I had to find ways to bridge the gap. I mean, I just felt, okay, if it is one person in my life that I have to bend over backwards for, in this wise, maybe it's, and considering the fact that we were how do you put it? It was a distance relationship. She was far from me, so I felt that I just needed to use that to bridge the gap. I mean, some other persons may have it different way. For instance, I think it became clear that it was a deal breaker for her. Maybe if it was not so, I mean, it's not so for you now. You may find a way to work around it, but just try and be objective in your evaluation. That am I saying that it's not doing enough in my estimation?
Or is it doing as much as he can, based on who he is?
You get it. So.
And one other thing, are you done, babe?
Yeah.
Yeah, and one other thing that she mentioned that also made me start to think is that she said at the beginning of the relationship, he was like more interested, saying that he would show you to his mom and stuff like that. Those are things that guys say when they are pursuing you. I feel like the chase initially to get you is not usually the same after they get you, because then, even as my husband was not a text call based person when we're still friends, you know, although when we're still friends we're really talking, but when he wanted to really date me, you get, it was always on my face, always there. But after we finished dating, all of a sudden he's not a call based person, like for where you know, although even when we were friends, I know you did more of text, so I knew that to be true about him, okay? And he communicated that with me, okay? But I just wanted to say that the chase in the beginning, okay, it's likely to drop after he has gotten what he wants. But that does not mean that it does not put in effort to be able to show you that you still mean more to me, right? You wanted to say something?
No, I was going to agree. It's normal to put your best foot forward in the pursuit of something. You're interviewing for a job, you're applying for something, you're trying to secure a contract. You know, you go with all the posturing and all this stuff, and after then, it may come down a bit. Of course, if it relapses too much, you're bound to, you know, prod him and let him know, guy, you are slacking up and all that. But it's just normal. It's just human. That's who we are. That's who all of us are.
Yeah. So yeah, that's one thing. Communication is very key. The guy cannot read your mind, okay? So you need to sit him down and talk to him in the language that you understand. All those while when I was always attacking him, or I would not pick his call, and that's me when I'm upset, like I just cut you off, like, you know, and he'll be like, why are you taking it so far? Like, if we have issues, we should discuss it, because that is the language he understands. But at the beginning, I was doing it the way I want. So because he didn't check on me, I won't check on him, you know. And then I will be online, he will send me a message, I won't respond, but he will see that I'm online, you know, those childish thing, okay? Because I wanted to pay him back, but he but he saw it as quite annoying. Like, if you want to have a conversation, have it, you know, the language that you will speak to him that he would understand. My husband deals with facts, okay? So when I send him videos, or I send him articles most times about the importance of communication in relationship, and he's able to evaluate, and then in the evening we have a conversation, we evaluate our relationship and stuff like that, that's when he now started to see, you know, the changes and all of that. But in the beginning, they would tell you heaven and earth. My husband, okay, that was quite different, you know. And also, one thing I also wanted to add is that not every guy, you know, goes into a relationship with the mindset that, oh, this is the person I want to marry, or this is it for me. Some of them go into it like, okay, I really like this person, I really like us to be together, you know, in the future, but, you know, let us get to know each other. Let's see how it goes. You understand? I don't subscribe in let's see how it goes. I subscribe in, if you see a person that you want to marry, take it to God. If you get a lead in, go all in, like put all in, which was the case, you know, in the 2 of us. I always knew from the beginning that this was where it was going to lead. But some guys don't have that, okay? That's why I said understanding is very, very important. Okay, effort matters. But the truth is that we ladies, we don't see effort, okay? We want everything, you know. If I want him to call me 3 times a day, if he increases his call from half times a day to 1 time a day, it's still not enough, you get, because he's not calling me as much as someone is. And you should also be careful that you are not basing your relationship based on people's idea of what relationship to be. You are comparing your relationship with somebody else. Self-evaluation is very important, and that is going to help you to know if you are really making the right decision before you even approach him, and it will help you to guide the conversation. Or babe, what do you think?
Oh, I agree absolutely. I only wanted to say that one other thing I think you're trying to say is that as a woman, or because most times you're the one that will be on the receiving end of the proposal, as it were. So that's what I'm saying. As a woman, you should identify for yourself what you want in a relationship. So when the person is coming, you have that in mind. Forget appearances and whatever words is saying. Try and read between the lines to determine if what this person is looking for marries with what you're looking for, without necessarily telling him, because if you tell someone that this is what I'm looking for and the person wants that thing, wants something different, it's easy for the person to camouflage and say, okay, I want what you want to. But without you opening up yourself, indicating exactly what you want, it might be important, or it's quite important and imperative that you, for a person, knows what you want, what exactly you need in a relationship, and the kind of relationship you want. That, so that when any partner comes, or when a potential partner comes, you evaluate from that standpoint.
From the beginning, so that you don't end up being in the force like this, right?
Yes.
Okay, babe, and I agree with what you said. There was one other thing that she mentioned in her question. Lately, it just feels like we don't have time, because we don't talk as much as we did in the beginning. We've already mentioned in the beginning, it's always lovey-dovey. When they get you, it reduces small, but it does not mean that it becomes, we don't talk in a day. That's not even acceptable. You cannot be, unless there's an emergency, right? You don't agree?
No, I wanted to say, depending on you. I know people who, they don't think.
Yeah, you're right, Cha. A friend of mine, she doesn't even feel like it's anything if they don't talk in a day.
If you don't talk in a day.
Like, just chat. But for me, it's a deal breaker. And that's one thing you have to also communicate, okay?
Yeah.
And once it's something you like, make sure it's something that you are also giving. So don't wait for him to call you, okay? Call him. That would really help. I know there's all the, why should I be the one pursuing it? Why should I be the one to call him? Oh, I'm selling myself cheap. And it's true, because I had that feeling also. But until he learns, whilst you are communicating to him that this is something I don't like, make sure that you are also taking that extra step to do those things that you don't like. It's like me saying that you don't buy me gifts. Okay, I will buy you a gift. Let me see if you be collecting gift from me and you never think to reciprocate. You get, or you don't spend more time with me and I'm spending more time, so you don't touch me enough, and I'm always touching you. When I'm now telling you that you don't touch me enough, you will not have the mouth to say, oh, that's the kind of person I am. But when I'm touching you, you are enjoying it, Abi. But that's the kind of person you are. You get, so you have leverage to speak from. Okay, so make sure that whatever you're doing, you are also reciprocating whatever you desire, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, he used to even call me sweet names. You know why I'm laughing? Because I think I was after we decided we're going to date, after he asked me and I said yes. It was one night we're talking. I don't know if you remember that we decided on our pet names. You asked me that. He was the one who actually asked me that what pet name should we give to ourselves, and we gave ourselves our pet name, even though that pet name never stuck. That's what we call ourselves in messages and stuff, but it was not something that we like, we just decided baby once in a while and stuff like that. But I understand the feeling of wanting to be called pet names and stuff, but not everybody subscribe to that. You get, not everybody subscribe to that. But if you think that's something that you want, like I said, you should also reciprocate it, right? You should also call him, hey babe, what's up? So if I call you babe and you call me Damola, I call you babe second and you call me Damola, I call you babe for like 1 month, one way or the other is going to affect you, right? And then you're going to also change that, right?
Yeah. Those kind of things, as showing what you want sometimes helps the person get a picture of what you're saying. Sometimes you can communicate with words and it's not getting home. The person is not just relating, but after a while, performance of some of those things that you're requiring goes a long way in painting a picture, and more often than not your partner will respond, except if it's not
and we'll get to that. All this one we are saying is that, okay, we are giving him a benefit of doubt that, okay, maybe this is not the way he is, and then we are telling you what to do to evaluate. But we'll get to the part where it's kind of like, we'll get to that part, but let's move on. And I'm not sure he likes me and all. He seems very cold, although his work is very demanding. Now that's also a clause there. What do you think?
I think depending on the nature of the job, if the person is a field officer and all that, it might be much difficult to be with your phone or be pressing phone or during the course of the day. But at least there will be some ways to make recompense, to compensate, right? For, so maybe the person does not talk during the day and talks on the way home, or when the person gets home and all that, just to try and cover up for that thing. So if you know the kind of job he does and how demanding it is, you could even ask him to explain the process of his job. So that will give you an idea of, if in the course of talking, it's not all the times you talk about fun things. Sometimes discuss life as it appears to you.
What he's going through.
Yes,
and
life
stuff.
as the person goes through. So tell me what a day in your life is like. It gives you an idea of what, aside from saying that this is what I do and whatever, it paints a more clearer picture and helps you relate. But if the job is not like that, there might be more to it. Maybe in his personal life something is going wrong.
Yeah, and I like what you mentioned about the personal life. Yes, but let us first talk about the job. Since you understand that his job can be demanding, like my husband said, try to know what his job entails. Like, try to know what time do you close typically, and then days that he's working late, ask him, how was your day? How was work today? Were you guys delayed? Try to find out things about his life. And it's not only on you, okay? I'm just saying it because you were the one who asked me this question, because he also has to be able to communicate those things to you. You don't just assume that I would know that you are not. I know my husband will, from when we're dating, I knew that when he was working in it before, it would take him about an hour to get home. If for any reason an hour later he's not, one other thing, my husband used to, when we're dating, he used to be a person that he does not like to call when he's in transit. Okay, I am the one that likes to talk. I like him to keep me company whilst I'm in transit, because
Transit.
And then transit, okay. And when I get home, I just want to hang up and sleep. My husband is not the person that when he's on the way, don't call him, don't tell him anything. When he gets home, we can now call and talk and communicate. So I think it really helped when because we were travel with, when he's at home is when I'm coming from work and stuff like that. So you just need to, the guy definitely needs to communicate that to you, to let you know that, hey, this is what is happening today. I might not be able to call you today, or I'm having headache tonight. I might not be able to talk as much. But I know we had, it's long distance. We have a lot of that. My husband will call me and tell me, hey babe, this and this and that. If he's not calling you WhatsApp call him video call. If he does not pick, ask him, why didn't you pick my call? And let him explain. Okay, and trust is very, very important. You need to, you are the one who knows the person you're dating. Okay, if you trust him enough, you trust his words and what he's saying. Of course, the excuse has to make sense to me, but anyway, so yes, that's the thing. You understand the nature of his job, but you need to understand also, and he needs to communicate that to you, right?
Yeah, I agree absolutely.
Okay, I definitely went in because I felt he is everything I always prayed for. It doesn't really show that he likes me, although in the beginning it sounded like it. Even said to tell his mom about me. We've already spoken about that, but where he said it's like everything you prayed for. In the beginning it's always like that. Trust me, you don't know any guy the first few months of dating, if you don't really know him well, you don't really know him well. That first few months is you discovering each other. For all you can tell, certain things I'm telling my husband, or I'm complaining, my husband did not even know it was an issue to him until I started raising it up, right? So sometimes he might not even know that is even something. Oh God, I used that moment that, but again, girls are different, people's needs are different, because I used to wonder that you've dated a few people, like, was this ever okay with them? You get, so one thing I've noticed, I've learned is that men will not know if you don't tell them, if you don't try to educate them and tell them this thing. Well, not educate them, but try to let them know what your feelings are about certain things. You wanted to say something?
No, I wanted to say it's a form of education, but I understand what you mean by
educating them.
I mean, you can't know anybody in a short while. It's a process. It unravels. There are things a person does not even know about themselves, that it might be the partner that helps them discover it and all that.
Oh, so she has even been dating him since March, April, May, June. Just 3 months. Girl, you're still getting there. But I also think that it is too early to know him, but I also feel like it's too early for him to be already giving you that vibe. No.
You should still be in the honeymoon.
Yeah. Anyways, it's very rare to have compliments or conversation. Somebody's eye is shiny, right? Conversation that leaves me assured. Surely got and paying compliment. This thing we are calling compliments, and guys, it's almost like they are in different directions. Why am I lying?
No, I think it depends. It depends
on the kind of person,
the
right?
personality of a person. I know guys who are all touch. They don't wait for you to touch them. I see them talking to people. They are all contact-based persons. I've seen guys who are very effusive with praise and adulations. Well, I think it all depends on the individual and whatever. So some persons don't know. I found out that when it comes to compliment, women have specifics, words they are looking out for that amounts or qualifies as being complimentary to them. So using a synonym of that word would probably land you in trouble. So you may have to find the word, even if it doesn't mean to you what it means to them. Because if I'm to rate people now, my adjectives, what it means to me is not what it means to my wife. So I'm having to learn some adjectives.
I'm a simple lady. If you want to say I'm beautiful, say you're beautiful.
So,
if you say you look hot, say you look hot. Don't say.
I don't like commonplace words. She likes.
That's
she doesn't. It doesn't matter to her whether it's common. I hate using everyday cliches.
Languages.
So I like specific words for specific things. But for her, if
no,
it is
I don't
beautiful,
understand,
it is beautiful. But for me, I don't want to say beautiful. I want a better word that means more. So if I call anything beautiful, aside from her, of course, trust me, I'm just being flattering. But so you may have to find out those kind of things. If he's that kind of person too, if he's not the type that knows how to, because my background perhaps play a role. So
I was going to speak to that.
We are not very. I came from a male-dominated background, so we are not very good with compliments and all that. I mean, there's a way guys compliment themselves, and every guy understands it. I mean, you praise in a very funny way. You see, guy, and you go say money not day. You are praising.
Yeah, my husband says like, when we just started dating, my husband used to say that, and I'm like, what do you mean? Like,
and he said money
you
not
want
day.
to say? Are you trying to say I look nice? Say it. Say it in that word.
But the guy gets it, and
and I think that's where like guys also need to be. And if you're a guy watching, I mean, you need to know your partner's appreciation language, her love language, her apology language. You need to discuss those things, and that's also one thing I wanted to mention to you, the lady who asked the question.
It's a process, so
yes, you can't know everything one day.
Not even because you can't know everything one day, because your partner may not know exactly what he or she likes. They may think they like a thing, and then eventually they'll discover. I mean, I've had things my wife will suggest that do this, and then eventually she'll find out she does not even like it as much. So it's a process, and the focus should be meeting your partner's needs. So finding out what makes so those compliments, if you have precise or particular words you like, repeat it to his hearing. Suggest those things to him, so that even if it wasn't in his horizon, in his thinking or his vocabulary, you would have inserted it cleverly somewhere. And one way or the other, it will pick it up from there. So
so communication is still what we are talking about, right? Communication is very key when it comes to compliments. Like my husband said, not every guy, like you don't want to know the fights me and my husband have had even after we got married about this compliments of a thing, because compliments when we're long distance relationship was different from compliment now that we are together, because it was easier for him because he's a text-based person, remember, to tell me, oh, you look beautiful and stuff on text. But when now we don't marry, it's like, where did all the compliment fly away to? Because he would look at me and say, and not is it and in my head I'm like, what? Who say it? Who what? You understand? So you just need to understand. And 3 months is quite early for you to know. Like you said, it's a process. You get to know those things, but you also need to make sure that when you guys are having conversation, you have deep conversation. When we just started dating, it was not all this lovey, oh, I miss you. No, it was not like that for us. So we discuss our genotype, we discuss our family background. See, if you get to a certain age.
I'm not that serious, please.
My mama it can be the most playful and the seriousest person.
I don't know what she's talking about.
So what I'm saying is that those first time, yes, there should be time for lovey-dovey and I miss you, or I love you, or whatever. But majority of your this conversation should also be channeled towards something intellectual, because anyway, I married an intellectual. So you guys should have that conversation. That first time, especially, you see, you get to a certain age where you know that is marriage I'm going into, you don't have time for all those rough play. You have conversation that we know where we are going. In the middle we insert lovey, but I know for a fact that this is person that I want to be in a relationship with. And you start that from the beginning of a relationship. Insert topics in. There are times I will listen to message, I'll send it to him, let's discuss in the evening and stuff like that. Because this is forever I'm going into. I need to be sure that we are in the same frequency. And how do you do that? Is by communication. So you need to communicate, get to know his background. He mentioned something about his background. I always say my husband came from a all boys background, okay? So I am a feminine, like I want to be showered with affections and words. You get, you know, he didn't do those things growing up, he didn't know those things growing up. So knowing his background is very important. How do you know that? Again, communication. So we cannot take communication out of whatever we are saying. You get to know him, and when you understand certain things about him, you don't blame him for many things, okay? You tend to give him benefit of doubt sometimes. Sometimes there are some things that are your deal breaker. You just have to lay it on the table. Listen, this is what I need to be able to feel love from you, and you might not be able to give it to me as much as I would want it, but I need to see that you're making the effort to do that, okay? Yes, like I said, I don't think you're asking for too much. It's what you want, it's who you are, it's what you desire. You have to communicate that with him. You just like to know him, have him. It's not fair for you to judge him if you have not really had that conversation with him to begin with, okay? You might just be judging based on the things you think men should know. You'll be surprised at the things that men don't know. You'll be surprised at the things that men don't know about women that you have to explain to him, okay? For him to be able to understand, right? It is not too early to have that conversation. Like I said, it's not too early. If you feel like there's something that is not right, at that point, draw it out. This is the time that you guys can offend each other, you know, not break up, but anyway, fight and resolve your issues, offend each other and make up again. You get, this is the time. You don't wait until you have, like my husband said, you've now 1 year into it and now you're saying, where will I go to? Oh, I cannot go anywhere, I've invested so much. No, do it now so that you would know for a fact if this is something that is even worth continuing, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so yeah, like we said, conversation is important. You need to have that conversation with him. Yeah, I think that's all she was asking. But now let's just talk about the facts. Now we've spoken about giving the guys benefit of that. These are some of the reasons why he might be doing what he's doing, or it's appearing to you that he's doing what he's doing. Now, another reason could also be, which is inevitable, that the guys maybe, you know, maybe long distance, see, it takes a lot of commitment to be able to do that. So you need to be sure that this guy is absolutely 100% committed to me. Especially Ibadan to Kaduna is a long journey, okay? It's a long way. So you need to know that, is this person actually committed to me? And you also know that by having that conversation with him. Is it that, is there something else? Are you sure you really want us, or are you just tired? I know that, especially when we are falling head over heels and we are really in love with this person, we see the signs that this person is not totally in, but because we have fallen, or we have allowed ourselves to be, not allowed yourself, sometimes it just happened, right? We have fallen in love and all of that. We don't want to face the reality, but the truth is that the reality will hit you one way or the other. If you like, face it now. If you don't face it today, you will face it tomorrow. You'll face it 1 year later, 2 years later, because you are trying to avoid. There are certain things that I noticed, or I was sensing when we were dating, that I was like, oh, let me give benefit of that. Let me give benefit of that. Eventually, when it came to my face, we had to have that conversation. We spoke about it, okay? In your relationship, once you feel or you sense, especially when you're a Christian, sometimes, like you mentioned, that is it the Holy Spirit trying to, was she the one who mentioned, was it the Holy Spirit trying to convince you? I don't know if I'm mixing it, but anyways, especially if you're a Christian, there are times that God is trying to open your eyes to things. I will share the story. Remember that? Don't worry. I would do a story time lately about the married man that I almost dated. Sometimes the Holy Spirit will try to convict you about something, but you will cloud your mind because, oh, I'm in love and stuff like that. If after you have all this conversation with him, after you've analyzed yourself, you've tried to get to reasonable, is it my expectation that he's not meeting, or is it that he's not making any effort? You have the conversation and this thing proceeds. You should know that this guy, and he does not make any effort, not that you, because you spoke with him, it's going to move from 0 to 100, no, but that he's not making any effort. Is not, and especially even when you're talking about it, he's not validating what you're saying. He's making excuses upon excuses. He's saying you are demanding too much, or you are impossible to please. Please dust your slippers and run away. Get it? You got it? Run away and let him clear road for someone better, right? Even when you're having a conversation, it should not be dismissive. It should be able to understand what you're saying. Of course, you should also try to communicate to him in the way that he's going to understand. You get? So, yeah, that's for me. Yeah, babe, what do you think?
I agree with everything you have said.
Say your own.
No, there's nothing much to say, really. The appearance from the information we have, is that there's more to this. Maybe the guy is losing interest or something. Maybe the distance thing is becoming overwhelming because it requires a lot of effort and commitment to navigate distance relationship.
Yeah.
So
especially if you are his first long distance relationship.
so it might be overwhelming and all that. So sometimes when you have those kind of talks, it might bring the clarity both of you need. So you could speak with him and then he will get the clarity that, okay, if he needs to keep you in his life, he has to up his game. And it could also give him the clarity to be like, Omo, I know if you continue,
exactly, let him just leave.
And it might even give you the clarity for you to see that, okay, I may be having feelings for this guy, but he clearly does not reciprocate it, at least in a way that makes you feel valued or valuable. So it might be the best thing for you to
just end it.
So the conversation is absolutely necessary.
Yeah, you need to have it. You need to have it, and you need to be objective. You know, you mentioned that when we're talking about it, you need to be objective. This is not a time to be crying. Oh, my mother was telling me that. I know tears is sometimes, we ladies, we use tears and emotions as tactics to be able to get what we want. But if you need to know how this guy truly feels about you, don't bring in emotion. Have that conversation logically, objectively. Do you want me or do you not want me? Is it that, what is the problem? This is what I'm seeing, this is what I'm not seeing. What is the problem? Let's have that conversation. It's not, oh, I feel like, oh, you don't value me, oh, you know, you hurt me every day. This is not a time for hurt me. Let's have that conversation. Do you want me or you don't want me? Of course, not in those words, but don't put in sentiment into it. Be objective when you're having that conversation to him, so that you can know if this is something that is worth continuing, right?
Yes. All
right, so we'll definitely won't be able to take the second question in this video. We'll shoot another video on that, so come back whenever, next week or whenever, to watch that. But if you see us wearing the same clothes, it's because we shot it today. So anyways, thank you guys for joining me again. Please, if you have any advice for these ladies, please leave it in the comment section below. We'll be happy to hear you, and I'm sure she'll be grateful to have your own views and opinions also. All right, thank you guys again. We are so grateful to have you here. Until we meet again, my name is Victoria Ayodele Fash, and this is
Wole.
Wole what? Wole what?
Filling the blank spaces.
This is my husband Wole Ayodele Fash, and we'll see you in my next video. We'll see you in our next video. Bye.